Mr. Ashok Thiyagarajan is the Vice President, Learning and Development at Intellect Design Arena Limited. With over 20 years of experience in different industrial verticals, Mr. Thiyagarajan spent a bulk of his career in the banking and financial services domain. He is a tech evangelist and a member of the Enterprise Architecture Group.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks MMA for the opportunity, especially Group Captain Vijay Kumar and the session chairman Sridhar Ganesh. It's a great honor to be here today. First up, I would want to give you a background on the company that I represent. Right, I work for Intellect Design Arena, and if you know, Intellect Design Arena is a company which specializes in BFSI, banking, financial services, and insurance. It's a global player which started in India. So we are in the business of moving money, right? So people ask why money needs to move, right? So money creates value only when it moves from one account to the other, right? So with technology, what we do, we build technologies that increases the velocity of money, thereby increasing the value that it could create, right? So as we speak, we have 300 customers across the globe at about 40 plus countries. So we are recognized number one for retail and corporate banking and in the insurance space for the kind of technology that we have built over a period of 3 decades, and the full spectrum banking. That's what the brand that I represent today. And in my role, so today I take care of learning and development, and I nurture, coach, and mentor a lot of early talent in my company. So building the backbone for building talent at Intellect Design Arena. So with that said, I'll quickly get on to today's topic, right? So the skills for the future, right? And the role of technology, the essential soft skills, and the importance of continuous learning. So these are 3 things that I want to touch upon, right? So today we live in a time where anything that you want, you don't have to step out of your house, right? So you just order on one of the apps and it gets delivered, be it food, mobile phones, daily needs, anything, right? So when this topic came up, we were just brainstorming with my team, right? So we were just asking, who's the audience that we are going to address and what do we want message to give it to them, right? So a lot of ideas came through, and we were just thinking through, now we are in a hype cycle of Gen AI, and if I'm going to talk about Gen AI, it's a no-brainer, right? No marks for guessing that, right? So we were just thinking, and we just took a step back and asked the why, as the Lieutenant General was mentioning, right? So we want to understand what has created this future for us. So we want to go into the past and see, how did we come here with all the technology that we are using? And I was digging around, and of course, I was using ChatGPT to do my research. That's the power of technology, right? So I landed up 160 years in the past, right? Way back to 1864. When this man, James Charles Maxwell, was presenting an idea about electromagnetic waves, right? The radio waves, they're generally called, right? So that was a starting point. I'll come to the evolution and what that evolution has done to us, to where we are today, right? So from 1964, there was a proposal on this in theory, and in 1988, Hendrik Hertz did a laboratory experiment to prove radio waves, right? So the first transmission probably happened in a distance of 1.5 miles to prove the technology that it works, right? Using radio waves, a signal was transmitted and it was captured, right? So that was a starting point. So at the turn of the 20th century, what happened, right? So it led to the invention of radio. You all know who invented Marconi, invented the radio, and the invention kind of transformed everything, right? All along, entertainment was probably happening in small theaters, like where people gather, like all the Colosseum or something. But when radio came in, like it created new jobs, right? So there were broadcast companies that were set up, and there were entertainment programs that were done. So it created jobs like a newsreader, right? It created jobs like a radio jockey, right? And it created jobs like program anchors, right? So cut the chase, like we move forward. Radio waves again enabled long distance communication, right? The space technology happened, we were able to talk to the space station or extend it further, like we operate the rover on the Mars sitting on the Earth, right? So that's the kind of revolution that it created, right? Then TV happened. So again, when TV happened, like many things changed, like the way entertainment was looked at. Probably people from my generation would remember Doordarshan was not offering 24/7 entertainment. We were having partially 1 hour or 2 hours in the morning, or 1 hour, 2 hours in the evening. That's how it started. Then the regional broadcast centers came up, and that revolution had led to the next change of satellite TVs coming in. So bridging the last mile. So every nook and corner, entertainment was available, news was available 24/7, entertainment was available 24/7. So the reach and the impact that it created also created a lot of different jobs, right? Be it video editors, program managers, or program designers, like the executive producers, like for content creators, like. So the technology has revolutionized like the way it would be applied and the kind of jobs that it would create, right? And you extend it, like now come to the current thing, right? So whatever we order gets delivered at our doorstep, and there is a radio wave behind it. So you access the World Wide Web or the internet, which has revolutionized many things. They changed in the last decade or so, many things have changed, right? So it is, we no more say change is a constant. It is, the speed of change is very important to watch for. So you'll have to all prepare for the speed at which things are changing. And if you go look at the underlying factor, right, what has resulted to this change, probably when James Clerk Maxwell, when he proposed the theory of radio waves, he never knew that we would be using it for delivering food to our doorstep, right? So, but look at the kind of applications that people have made, right? So when you look at innovation, there are two sides to it. So bringing in something very new, or there is other side to innovation called the applied innovation space, where we build solutions with the technology that's come in new. So that is what we have done with the internet, or that's what we have done with computing power, right? So that's the most important thing, like your ability to create, applying thought. So those would be the differentiators, right? So if you look back at the gig economy companies, right? You look at Amazon today, they are into everything, right? But they had a humble beginning. So they started as an online bookstore. Could you believe, right? And look at Amazon today. So they are into payments. They are into anything that you want to buy, the kind of aggregation that they do. It's nothing that you can't buy on Amazon. Or look at the presence on cloud, the kind of server farms that they have built, and the kind of technologies that they have built to serve, right? So that's about the ability to expand an available technology and create value out of whatever technology that's there, right? So that revolution of things, right, had made data very, very important in the stages of IoT. today we generate massive amounts of data. Probably Google knows more than what I know about myself. Suddenly one day I get a pop-up on my phone saying that last year you have been in this place, right? So probably I don't even remember, right? So that's the kind of data that is available today. And what are we doing with all this data? So the data has become the new oil, right? So if you look into generative AI or the generation before that technology, AI and ML, right? Machine learning. So we used all this data to machines to learn, right? And created a capacity for them to predict or make decisions. That is what is transformational, and that is kind of transforming the whole of the technology space that we are in today, right? And generative AI, right? So many people think that Gen AI is as a threat, right? It will take away jobs. So that's not true actually, right? Gen AI, I look at it as a tool, like be it your, it's like your pencil or pen. So always look at it as a tool and see how you can leverage it. So the power of Gen AI is everyone has got a research assistance of their own in their pocket, right? It has put a world in your pocket. So what you have to graduate to is to make it as a friend and see how you can leverage it to your advantage. Again, it's not that it knows everything. It has the ability to give you answers, but how to extract it is in your hands. So are you able to ask it the right kind of questions, right? So it has created a new job role called prompt engineers, right? Who specialize in creating prompts to get the right kind of thing out of the Gen AI. From code, we have moved to creating IPs for prompts. Earlier, in the earlier version, when we build our products, like we were creating IPs for the code that we wrote. But in the current form, with Gen AI coming in, we create IPs with the prompts that we create to extract work done from a generative AI machine, right? So I can keep going on with technology, right? But what we have to look forward to is how are we looking at these technologies and what are the kind of skills that we need to have for the future, right? So technology complements skills, right? As I said, change is a constant, is a passe, but we'll have to always look for the speed of change. Change is imminent. Nobody can stop it. What we have to worry about is the speed at which change is happening. And are we aligned and geared up for it is what the question that we need to answer. So the skills that would really matter in the future would be your agility and adaptability to change. That would be the most differentiating thing. And the second important skill that would be a differentiator would be your flexibility and agility to learn, right? So we are living in a time where, as we speak, things get outdated, right? Very fast. That's the speed of change. So you don't have the luxury of time to sit back and master something, right? Instead, can you instantly acquire something, assimilate the knowledge, apply it to create value, then you can create differentiation. And again, communication is an evergreen skill. So that's going to be the most differentiating thing wherever you are. Like communication is going to be the differentiator. And another important skill that I would recommend is critical thinking and problem solving. So enterprises hire people to solve problems, like in our domain. So we solve problems for the financial world, right? Which is a very critical thing. As we speak, we move billions of dollars across the globe, and small error can create a huge impact, right? So that's where like critical thinking and problem solving are indispensable skills, right? I'll quickly move on to talk about the last point of my speech, which is about continuous learning, right? So when I was looking for examples, right? So I looked at myself. So when I passed out of college, with a major in mathematics, right? So I was taking up a sales job. So I had a huge aversion to computers, right? So I was not able to understand this machine, the concept of programming languages and stuff, right? So after being in a 2 or 3 sales job, I slightly felt like I'm not doing the right thing. This is not what I wanted to do. So then I decided to go back to college to conquer my fears. Like, I want to understand this machine, what it really does and what programming is all about. So I enrolled myself for a course in computer science, right? Postgraduate diploma in computer science, where I just conquered my fear, right? I understood what programming is all about and what it can do. Imagine, like, way back in 97, the project, the capstone project that I did as part of my course was in AI, right? That was 97, like 27 years back. Counseling for drug addicts is the topic that I worked on using a language called Prolog for artificial intelligence, right? So, and artificial intelligence, I moved a long way from what I did in 97, right? Then I came to Chennai, and those were the times of the Y2K. I don't know how many of you could relate to it. That's when the exodus of technocrats happened from India to the US. Like, everybody were going to US to solve this problem called Y2K, right? So, and to find a job other than that was very difficult, right? So I wanted to specialize in the area of databases. So I was looking for a job, and I landed up as a lab coordinator. A job as a lab coordinator, that was my first formal job in IT, right? So what was the challenge faced by a lab coordinator? Those days where we had the concept of 24/7 labs. So in any given point of time, you will have as many people working in as many technologies. Somebody would be working on C, somebody would be working on Unix, somebody would be working on C++, somebody would be doing something on Oracle or D2K or VB. So as a lab coordinator, my job is to help all my customers. Whenever they are stuck, I got to help them. So that's when I realized the power of knowledge, right? And the deep understanding of technology. So there was no looking back from then. So then I moved out of my lab coordinator job to take up the role of a faculty, technology faculty, where I trained a lot of people on various technologies. Then moved on to join Polaris way back in 2000 to be a developer, building all these financial products. Then while working on these products, I acquired the knowledge on the domain, which helped me to move on to take up higher roles like an analyst, then became an SME of a financial product, then went on to become an architect. That path led me to head the R&D at my company, right? After 25 years of being a technocrat, I decided it's time to give it back. So I decided to move to L&D to share all that I have done, to help and groom, coach and mentor the early talent in my company. So all this happened because I was continuously watching for change. Technology has shifted through generations from the days I started to work on technology. But what gave me success was keeping pace with the change. So every time something new happened, I was curious to get into knowing what it can do and what is the value that I can create for business. That's how I keep myself refreshed, and that's how I kept myself relevant in the space that I was operating. So continuous learning is the only way forward, right? As I said, the speed of change is disrupting everything, and continuous learning with agility and flexibility is what will help you to stay relevant for the future. So probably with those notes, I will conclude my speech here, and probably if you have any questions, I would, yes, sir.